Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. We are the society. We represent the boys and girls who work tirelessly to keep the power coming to your homes and cottages, so your lights will stay on. We are calling all our brothers and sisters to stand up for one another. We'll bite the bite, we'll fight the fight, we'll stand up for our rights, and we're not backing down. We are the society. We represent the boys and girls who work tirelessly to keep the
It was clear that bargaining a new 2005 agreement was going to be difficult. Recognizing from the beginning that we were about to negotiate both with Hydro One management and the Ontario Liberal government, it was important to develop a team that could lead our members through a potential strike. The team employed a communications action network to keep members informed and actively involved in strike preparations.
The new hires are quite supportive, quite vocal. They did have a lot of questions.
To first tackle Hydro One, the easiest membership to maybe get some inroads in, and then in the next year or the year after, the other society bargaining units will be in the same boat we are right now.
I think the employer is going to find out this is not the easiest one to tackle, and we're going to demonstrate that.
Mobilization of the membership has been phenomenal. I think it is key that you have contract committee leads to get the message down, because those are the people who know the membership.
A strike vote tonight could mean a labor disruption at the power company. Leanne Pereira has details.
Nearly 1,000 ballots were counted. An overwhelming 97% voted yes, bringing Hydro One workers a step closer to a strike. The Society of Energy Professionals, which includes engineers, IT professionals, and supervisors, are the people who keep our lights on, but maybe not for long.
92% of our entire membership, from Kenora to Ottawa, from Windsor to Niagara Falls, have voted. 97% have endorsed the strike action.
Meanwhile, back at Hydro One, questions about expenses for the CEO. It's the second time in less than a month the energy ministers had to defend the company's chief executive.
This time it was for 3 trips CEO Tom Parkinson took to his cottage in Muskoka using a Hydro One helicopter.
There was business use of the helicopters. The helicopters did not go out of their way.
Earlier this month, Energy Minister Dwight Duncan had to defend a 35% increase in Parkinson's salary, which brought his compensation to $1.5 million last year.
To have so many of our members out here, to have so many people from the broader labor movement supporting, this is fantastic. My wildest dreams, I didn't expect anything as great as this. And I think Tom's looking down from there, or maybe from his helicopter.
CC McGinty, we should phone, we should bombard them with messages. This is not fair, and it's not right. And thanks, Tom.
I bring you both the greetings and the full support of the over 8,000 men and women who represent the Transit Workers Union.
And I think the crucial issue here is I bring you solidarity from 190,000 members of our Labour Council. The crucial issue here comes down to 2 things: our dignity and their arrogance.
You only get what you're strong enough to take.
Say no! Just say no! Just say no! Just say no! Just say no!
Thank you very much.
Members of the Society of Energy Professionals lack in the power of numbers. They make up for in the power of, well, power. Engineers and computer experts who oversee the maintenance and repairs that keep electricity pulsing through the wires of Hydro One. And as of midnight, they could be on strike or locked out. And then they say, look out.
Members went out with leaflets at each of our locations across the province to inform the public about our contract issues.
Be careful how I read in the bills and disputes this mayor, but I'll do whatever I can. The Society of Energy Professionals are holding information pickets here, and man, is it ever causing a bit of a traffic snarl on Montgomery Road all the way up to Brock Road and all the way back up to the 401.
There are currently two key issues. One is two-tiered, which means any new employee after April 1st, 2005 would start at 10% less.
About 3,000 workers, or slightly more than that even, will have trouble getting into work this morning, and that will slow things down. However, I've spoken to Hydro One, and they tell me that
They didn't teach Sohail Babai how to do this at university. The electrical engineer started work at Hydro One on Monday, but as a member of the Society of Energy Professionals, he is now out on strike.
In Barrie, on June 1st, Society members walked out in protest against Hydro One's threat to lock us out. Supported by Power Workers Union members from this facility, these Barrie members showed the strength of our commitment that inspired other members across the province.
If your power goes off, it will be off longer, and the risk of your power going off is definitely increased.
Now, there was a blip in hydro service on Friday, which also happens to be a day that the union supervisors were not on the job. The union says that's an indication of what could happen. Hydro One says the blip had nothing to do with the workers not being there.
200 of those unionized workers are spending their third day on the picket line at the utilities major control center in Barrie. The picketers are causing long delays for other workers getting to the site. So yesterday, the company began using helicopters to ferry workers in to keep the power flowing.
White-collar hydro workers are on strike, holding pickets across the province, and at this hour,
electricity distributor says strikers have been holding up employees at the gates for up to 1 hour. Hydro One wants the courts to limit aggressive picketing.
Hydro One workers have set up picket lines in Kitchener.
He says it will only negotiate a deal that addresses key issues.
What we would like is to have Dalton pick up the phone and tell Tom Parkinson to settle this thing.
Well, we had 300 members go out on strike in the Barrie area last Wednesday, and they have been picketing at the Barrie site since then. As of 12:01 last night, the remaining 700 approximately removed their services, and they're picketing out of 17 to 18 sites across the province, Trinity being one of those.
The infamous 11-second blackout in Western Ontario, caused by replacement workers on May 27th, finally hit the international news on June 24th, thanks to the efforts of the IFPTE in Washington. American congressmen and House representatives were alarmed at how close the whole North American grid had come to collapsing altogether.
To broaden the impact of our strike, we began to picket other power system facilities.
As the 5th and 6th generating units were shut down at Nanticoke, the Society was called back to the negotiations table. Thanks again for the support from the Society and the Power Workers Union members.
We recognized that we had to bargain directly with the Premier and pursued him and his cabinet throughout the summer, at golf fundraisers, at auto plant groundbreaking ceremonies, and at political barbecues. Our relentless pursuit of provincial Liberals led to another call for us to resume talks at the negotiation table.
Dalton McGuinty, during a school retrofit photo op, finally admitted that the government had a role in settling our contract dispute with Hydro One by announcing the appointment of a new high-level mediator.
To introduce this two-tiered system, and it's going to spawn or spread to other unions, to other locations throughout the entire province, throughout the entire country, and it's wrong.
Hampton says the McGuinty government's energy policies don't make any sense. He points out that Ontario residents are being asked to cut their energy consumption. At the same time, he says Hydro One is not seriously negotiating with its striking energy professionals, the very workers who could help fix our energy woes.
Some frayed tempers reminiscent of August 2003 as a large chunk of the downtown core suffered through most of the day with no power, thanks to a lightning hit at a switching station in the East End. So what happened? Well, there are about 1,000 hydro engineers and specialists who've been on strike for 2 months.
Our position is if our people had been working, that would have been fixed. You wouldn't have had a blackout at all.
Right.
Because there would have been one feed would have been there, and then when this one went down, the other feed would have taken over.
Striking Hydro One engineers set up an information picket at Queen's Park this morning. The 50 or so picketers handed out flyers asking Premier Dalton McGuinty to stop the discrimination. That's how the Society of Energy Professionals characterizes a proposal to cut wages and benefits for new hires at the utility. 1,000 engineers have been on strike against Hydro One for 77 days.
On again, off again discussions didn't stop us from keeping up the pressure on the government.
Staged a boisterous demonstration, and the Premier heard their concerns. Our Queen's Park reporter Paul Bliss has the story.
It's not very often city councillors from Kapuskasing and North Bay are forced to man the barricades at a Toronto hotel to keep pounding protesters at bay. But this was the scene at the Weston Harbour Castle as the Premier prepared to speak to hundreds of local politicians at the annual Conference of Municipalities.
And while that intrusion can be frustrating, it is heartening to know that we live in a democracy.
The Society of Hydro Professionals has been off the job for 72 days. They're the engineers and managers that keep the hydro lines working to deliver your electricity. Premier Dalton McGuinty says the two sides have to get back to the table and start making breakthroughs.
So it's been a little bit frustrating for me, to be perfectly frank, that this has gone on for this long. And I think it's in everybody's interest that the sides come together, work together in good faith, bargain in good faith, and find a resolution.
Well, the Premier's speech was delayed about an hour because of the protest.
McGuinty talked with 4 society members, including our president, Andrew Mueller.
It's the 4th or 5th time that he's met with them, and in the end, the demonstrators dispersed, and there were no arrests.
In apparent retribution for our escalating tactics, Hydro One terminated 10 newly hired graduates who honored the picket line on their first day of work. In Goderich, a picket captain and member of the negotiating team was fired. At Dundas, 7 picketers were terminated for alleged illegal picketing.
Something which we did today was we went through Scarborough, Rouge River area, and there's a by-election going on there. It's mainly a liberal area, and we went and leafleted about 40,000 homes there in that area.
There ain't no power like the power of the people, and the power of the people won't stop. There ain't no power like the power of the people, and the power of the people won't stop. There ain't no power like the power of the people, and the power of the people won't stop. There ain't no power like the power of the people, and the power of the people won't stop. There ain't no power like the power of the people, and the power of the people won't stop. Society of Energy Professionals at Hydro One, everybody, on strike for fairness against discrimination of our youth for 97 days. Let's get a big round of applause. How's everybody doing?
Society President Andrew Mueller was ejected from the Board of Trade office, where he expected to confront visiting Hydro One CEO Tom Parkinson. IFPTE President Greg Juneman, organizer Bill Fitzpatrick, and other labor movement activists were also ejected.
Society members and supporters gave spirited support, which Tom Parkinson could hear through the muffle of security guards and police officers barricading the doors to his meeting.
We're here today to preview a new ad campaign that the Society is launching, which will appear on air and in print starting on Friday, September the 9th.
Why is Premier McGuinty letting Hydro One discriminate against people like me?
Hydro One wants a new policy of wage discrimination.
New engineers like us, doing the same work as everyone else, would forever be paid a lower wage.
When our professional society protested, I was fired.
Our parents sacrificed for their children. How do I tell them I was fired for believing in fairness?
Premier McGuinty, please make this discrimination stop now.
The gloves are off. A mediator seated between Hydro One managers and its striking Society of Energy Professionals is sending the whole kit and caboodle to arbitration.
So I think you have a lot to be proud of because you fought a really good fight and you fought it against the toughest opponent that people have seen for many, many years.